Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Today is the 24th of July. We're moving right along. We've got a sun sign in Leo. So we know about that now for the rest of this month. It's fire sign. We have a moon sign today in Cancer, which is an emotional sign. So we have fire and water. Think of the unconscious mind. It's underneath the surface, and the conscious mind is above the surface. If you think of fire and water right here, and you think of the water's underneath and the fire's on top, you got fire that can put out the water, or fire can make the water warm, or water could put out the fire. So if you just substitute the word fire and water with ideas and feelings, you could see that feelings could overwhelm our ideas, or we could have so many ideas and mental stuff going on that emotionally we just get out of whack. So it's important that we learn how to work these energies together. As we move throughout the course of the day, we have a number of aspects we're dealing with. We just had an aspect here. It took place about an hour ago, or 2 hours ago, and this was between Neptune and Venus, so about our imagination and looking at things from a new perspective. And then we have the moon sign is coming up, Cancer and Neptune at a little afternoon Pacific time. So there again we have emotions that we're dealing with, feelings, Cancerian ideas, and they're going to be in a nice positive, trine, a nice good energetic pattern with Neptune. So saying whatever feelings you have, look differently, look at a different perspective. That's really a key to this Neptune. Neptune, because it's water, it deals with the ideas of illusion. Neptune deals with illusionary things. Movies fit into that category. Television, things that are shown to be images. So there you have it. So looking at things from a new perspective. Then we've got a conjunction that's taking place a little bit after that. The conjunction, two signs right next to each other. So Cancer is going to be right next to Venus. Venus already went through one phase of one aspect with Neptune, so now we're in another aspect. In addition to taking things in another perspective, now they're right next to each other, so this imagination and these emotions are both together. So maybe deep feeling for what one is doing might be coming to the surface. Then we have our sun sign and Jupiter, expansion, are going to be right next to each other in conjunction. So expand, the ideas of Leo are expanded as the two stand side by side. And then as we move into the course of this evening, we have Uranus is going to be in a square with Mercury. So our communication, Mercury, is going to be in a square with Uranus. Things that change, unexpected changes, the way we go about do things. So the way in which we communicate, we need some change that's going to go on in there. Something to move the conversation forward. And then later this evening at 9:11 p.m. Pacific time, we do have Mercury again, this time expanding, this time discipline of Saturn And this is a trine, so after Mercury's gone through its phase of dealing with Uranus, now it's going to have to go through its phase of dealing with Saturn. So Uranus taught it the ideas and put forth the principle that there was some change that needed to take place. Something was coming up real quick, change, and then later the discipline that comes after that change, perhaps to readjust to the change that was made in our way we think, the way we communicate. And then finally, the last aspect for today is opposition taking place between Pluto and the moon sign of Cancer. So these two signs are opposite each other, balancing each other out. Or maybe completely different ideas, but certainly when you have two things opposite, think of a teeter-totter and how they work. Even the symbol is kind of like a teeter-totter, right? So we have the emotions, and Pluto is a deep transformative energy that goes on. So that's what's taking place later this evening. The numerology for today is the number 2. Here's how we've arrived at the number 7 plus 24, 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 4 all together adds up to 20. 2 plus 0 equals 2. So our numerology for today is the number 2. We're going to look at that one when we look at the tarot card, which we're going to do momentarily. Here we have our positioning, so you can see everything. Sun sign, right here, Leo. Moon sign, Cancer, right here. And then a numerology for today right down the middle. So we understand about Cancer, the emotions, feelings, the wearing of the armor to protect oneself, to be able to steer down the course, coming out of this severity of discipline. The severity or this discipline that helped us to understand, now dealing with the severity of all that's going on, but the necessity to go back to the heart and use righteously or the right use of the energy. And here in the middle, the High Priestess is number 2. Let's look at this one here. The High Priestess. Yesterday we looked at number 1, the Magician. Today the High Priestess. So the Magician, if you remember, was all about the conscious mind, focusing. Okay, now we're moving on to card number 2. The astrological attribution of key 2 is the moon. The moon is a reflector of sunlight and thus is a symbol of reflection, duplication as in a mirror, and like ideas. The crescent moon is cup-shaped and therefore symbols receptivity. These properties are those of the subconscious mind. You will be able to see readily that the factors of reflection and duplication are essential to the faculty of memory, which is symbolized by this key. The universal substance has been called by some scientists mind stuff. Occultists have known for ages that the universe is really made up of mental energy. This primordial substance, known to the Hindus as Prakti, has always been symbolized by water, by a virgin. The High Priestess is a virgin, and the blue color that predominates in this key, as well as the flowing robe, represents water. The curtain behind the High Priestess is a symbol of virginity. It connects the two pillars of light and darkness, and all the other opposites, thus symbolizing the associated powers of subconsciousness. This symbolism of pairs of opposites is also carried out in the ornaments on the veil, which symbolizes the active and passive modes of the life powers self-generation. The symbolism of the stone cube is too involved to give here at length, which symbolizes, but we may say that the stone is an esoteric word representing union, life, and wisdom. The silver crown represents the waxing and the waning of the moon, thus representing periodicity and rhythm. The scroll represents memory, history, the record of experience. The word Torah signifies the law. Okay, and Hebrew letter Gimal, and the meaning is camel, which takes things back and forth. Okay, and we could see the path that goes from the crown to the heart, and you pass through this door of imagination to get down, and then you have to go through this door of righteousness to get down, and you get into the heart space. All right, our moon is 5% full. We're almost to the new moon, which we will be in the next day and a half. Up in the sky tonight, it says, in a really dark sky, the Milky Way now forms a magnificent arch high across the whole eastern sky. After darkness, it's complete. It runs all the way from below Cassiopeia in the northeast, up across Cygnus and in the Summer Triangle to the east, and down past the Sagittarius T-spot to the south. Okay, this is what we're looking at. The Mayan Oracle, 7-tone day. 7-tone is called the resonant tone of attunement. It's the attunement of the hand, which is accomplishment. Guided by the storm, which is a gathering of energy. So we have the attunement of accomplishment guided by the storm energy, catalyzing our energy. Then we have like-minded energy is free will, the human. Navigation and synchronicity is our challenge for today. It's the red earth. And here we have the white wizard, which is timelessness, which is our hidden power. And we could see where our position is here of the hand and the theme of the dragon. Say we're accomplishing. A hand can be used to kill or to heal, depends on how we use it. Phrase for today is I channel in order to know, inspiring healing. I seal the store of accomplishment with the resonant tone of attunement. I am guided by the power of self-generation. Solar wind is currently at 373.6 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is a little bit up there between the 2 and the 3, still in the quiet range. We have this coronal hole open up here, no notification of anything coming our way. However, I suspect that with that pointing our direction, that will change in the next 24 to 48 hours. M-class and X-class flare possibility still at 1%. Geomagnetic storm activity is low as well, just like it was the other day. And on the Jewish calendar today is 26 Tammuz. The thought for today: leave nothing behind. If it is not evil, we must use it for good. If it can be raised higher, we cannot leave it below. Everything he made with purpose. All right? Everything he made with purpose. So there you go. That's a good line right there. It's the very last one. Okay? So there you go. Gets us started. And onward to UFO news. It's up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. First story is going to take us over to South Wales. Bell-shaped UFO over South Wales. July 21st. There's our object in the sky. Source photographs here. During the early morning, a retired soldier looked up and spotted this UFO hovering over the city of Swansea. Oh, this was one we saw the other day. Mr. Lewis used to be in the Royal Armed Corps and immediately ruled out the possibility of the object being a plane or helicopter. Alright, we read the story the other day. This is a good picture of it. A little better picture than what was up there. This was the one where he just watched for a while. Retired military guy. Very hot bedroom. Opened the window. Noticed a strange thing above Swansea. Alright, let's move on from here. Next we're going to go UFO sighting reports near Port City in Turkey increase in July. Okay, we saw this one not too long ago. Turkish UFO research claimed they have received many reports about UFO sightings near Bodrum's Port City in July. Bodrum is a district in Port City in southeastern coast of the nation. Sirius UFO, a Turkey-based research organization, says that the area has been a hotbed for UFO sightings this month. The organization posted many pictures and videos showing UFOs above the area. They say that they learned about many sightings with the help of the local press who have been tipping them. One of the reports they have received is accompanied by a video shot by Mustafa Katare at the Bodrum Castle near the heart of the city on July 7th. Another UFO sighting was reported by photos taken by Rock Menet in the town of Konasiak in the Bodrum district. Another was reported by Bar Isan and Peak Ololak, with a photo showing a UFO also in Konasik town, Bodrum district. Serious UFO acknowledges the fact that many UFO pictures are due to Chinese lanterns, Venus blemishes, birds, light, reflection bubbles, and atmospheric phenomena. However, they argue that many reported objects cannot be explained by any conventional reasons. They note that all the aspects are being considered before they conclude the images are still under comprehensive investigation. Dun 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 dun. What will they find out? Alright, another crop circle. This is one we have not seen. This one's pretty cool looking here. Definitely looks like the kind of thing you'd see with made with a spirograph, huh? That one's really cool. What we got? We have 1, 2, 3 circles, 4 circles. If we look at the last circle out here, we've got 5 circles. And if we even take this circle here, we've got 6, right? Because we got the outside one is 1. And this starts the second one here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 circles. Somehow this one here is bringing unity among these 3, which is important. Okay. So very interesting. So check it out. Look at the picture. See what you think. Any ideas? Shoot me a note. Very interesting. Okay, moving on from there. Here's a story from 1971 as a video that's 10 minutes in length for you to watch. This is the Delphos, Kansas UFO incident of 1971. A very credible UFO encounter occurred in the small town of Delphos, Kansas in 1971. The case has never been debunked and is still considered one of the very best physical trace cases involving UFO landing. 16-year-old Ron Johnson, along with his dog Snowball, was tending to the family's sheep when his attention was suddenly drawn to a mushroom-shaped UFO appearing in the night sky. And you can see the flying object metallic with multicolored lights was hovering approximately 75 feet away from Ron among some trees. Johnson estimated the craft was only a few feet above the ground. He estimated the craft diameter was 6 to 8 feet. Stunned by what he was looking at, he tried to get a closer look, but the brilliant luminance of the craft did not allow him to make out any additional details. Ron described the craft making a loud sound like an old washing machine which vibrates. The glow of the object's bottom increased as it began to rise up into the sky. Ron would later state that he was temporarily blinded by the brightness of the craft as it ascended. After he regained his sight and composure, he ran back to the family house to alert his mother and father, Emma and Durrell. The glowing, bright object was now even higher in the sky. His parents came running to the side of the house to get a glimpse of the unusual phenomena. They arrived just in time to see the object, now as big as the full moon, as it disappeared in full view. Okay. Good story. It says the 3 Johnsons were shocked to see a glowing ring on the ground right below where the craft had hovered. There was also glowing material on some of the trees nearby. Family members would agree that the ground around the glow felt strange, like a slick crust, as if the soil was crystallized. Okay, so check out the video. It shows the story with a little bit of an acting presentation going on, dramatization. Alright, 12 ancient mysteries that might never be solved. Despite the relentless efforts of the best historians, academics, cryptographers, these codes have never been deciphered. We are confounded even today, despite all of our technological wonders. Someone went to great lengths to leave messages carved into the earth, on stone, or on some type of man-made device. What secrets do these treasures hold, and how important are they for the future of mankind? Alright, there's 12 of them here. First one, the Paracas Geoglyphs Candelabra. Right here. These are giant images drawn on the surface of the ground. The Nazca lines are probably the most famous glyph, but just 200 kilometers from the Nazca is an even more mysterious example. 180 meters by, which is 600 across. It's a pretty good size. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This is a disc, the Phaistos disc. The mystery of the Phaistos disc is a story that sounds like something out of an Indiana Jones. Discovered by Italian archaeologist Luigi Pernier in 1908 in the Minoan Palace site of Phaistos. The disc is made of fired clay and contains mysterious symbols that may represent an unknown form of hieroglyphics. It is believed that it was designed sometime around the 2nd millennium BC. We have the giant horse in the ground. It's called the Ovington White Horse. Ancient and mysterious landmarks are not uncommon sight in England. Although Stonehenge comes to mind, many more are to be found. The White Horse in Uffington, 115-meter hill figure, was created by digging deep trenches filled with crushed chalk. This animal appears to be a horse, and similar depictions appear in ancient coins dated back to the Bronze Age. Okay, from the horse we go to this one here, the Tartaria tablets. These 3 small stone tablets found in the Romanian village might feature the earliest forms of writing ever discovered. Most archaeologists used to agree that several religions developed writing independently between 3500 and 31 BC. The earliest examples we could find showed photo writing from cultures such as the Sumerians in Mesopotamia. However, if the Tartaria tablets are genuine, then they predate the other discoveries by 2,000 years. The White Shaman Rock. In ancient cultures in America still hold many secrets, and one to decode is studying rock paintings. Near the Pecos River in the Texas Lower Pecos Canyon is one of the oldest and most significant. The White Shaman, a 7-meter, 24-foot artwork dated to cover 4,000 years ago. The White Shaman is thought to offer information regarding the ancient lost religion. Okay. And we have here the Liber Litanius Zagrabiensis. The Linen Book of Zagreb is the longest written text in the Etruscan language. The language had a huge impact on the world since it heavily influenced Latin, but nowadays it's mostly lost. Only a few ancient documents feature it, so large chunks of the Liber Litanius are still untranslated to this day. From what can be gathered from the book, it appears to be a ritual calendar, although it has initially thought to detail funeral rituals. The Sajama lines. Anyone impressed with the Nazca lines or the Paracus candelabra should learn also about the Samaja lines of Bolivia. They too are a collection of lines etched into the ground, but they are dwarfed by other geoglyphs in sheer scope. Okay. Then we have the Rongorongo. Is a system of mysterious glyphs discovered written on various artifacts on Eastern Island. Many believe they represent a lost system of writing or proto-writing, and could be one of just 3-4 independent versions of the human writing in history. The Blythe geoglyphs. The Blythe Intelligeos are a collection of dozens of geoglyphs found in the Colorado Desert near Blythe, California. They show various representation of animals, geometric shapes, and giant humans, the largest depicting a 50-meter man. It's 170 feet. The true scope of the geoglyphs was unknown until 1932 when it was viewed from the air. And here we have, says, the death of Alexander the Great. Even though Alexander the Great is one of the most famous and most well-documented figures in the ancient world, a lot of mystery surrounds his death. Most experts agree on the time and the place. June 10th, 323 BC at the palace of Nebuchadnezzar II in Babylon. The cause of the death remains far from certain. The minaret of Jam in Afghanistan is admired by many for its beauty and complex design. The 64-meter tower is still in good condition today, even though it was built sometime in the 12th or 13th century using baked bricks. Intricate decorations and inscriptions are still clearly visible. The Emerald Tablet remains the most mysterious item on the list because, unlike others, it does not exist anymore. We do not know its author, origin, or location. Although we know this is the first document mention of the Emerald Tablet dates to an old Arabic school between the 6th and 8th centuries. The earliest Arabic translations claim that the original text was in ancient Syriac. First Latin translation of the text appeared in the 12th century, and multiple other translations have been made since then, including one by Sir Isaac Newton. Okay, so wanted to bring this list to your attention. All with Alexander the Great here could be from extraterrestrial sources. So very much fits into what we're talking about here. And one last piece, the long legacy of military intelligence, flying saucers. This is from UFO Digest. It says in 1952, shortly after a spectacular series of confrontations between U.S. Air Force jet interceptors and unidentified radar targets over White House airspace, U.S. Army General John Samford, head of the U.S. Army Intelligence Field, questions by U.S. press corps along with the Air Force General Roger Ramey. In key points made by General Samford, he stated that no known project on Earth was responsible for the appearance of the UFO phenomena. He also acknowledged that a certain number of sightings were inexplicable through the course of analysis by military investigators. You might recall General Roger Ramey, who accompanied Samford, had previously derailed the Roswell crash by labeling it as a weather balloon. Alright, so I'm going to leave that for you after I read that. But just imagine for a moment where we might be today had secrecy about these phenomena had never existed. I know we're well past that phase, but just think about it. If we had from day number one, when things started coming down, ships started coming down, we started making note and we took seriously instead of laughing at each other, just imagine where we might be in the world. Very interesting indeed. Alrighty, let's move along. I will be right back.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Continue on. I want to bring this article to your attention before we continue on with the reading of Bringers of the Dawn. It's called How American Propaganda Works. The reason I want to bring this to your attention is because, well, the American people are being played. They're being played every day. And unless you're aware of it, then you're just getting played out there like everybody else. I'm pretty certain that if you're listening to the show that you're aware of what's going on because I bring up enough of these topics. And I know that, from your messages, your emails, and so on, that you are researching the same subjects as well. So we all understand this is an important problem that's going on. Most Americans, unfortunately, do not know or realize that America is propagandized every day, and that executive orders have been put in place to put propaganda against the American people. Someone thinks the American people are really stupid, and that's pretty much what it boils down to. It says, why hasn't Washington joined Russian President Putin in calling for an objective, non-politicized international investigation by experts to the case of the Malaysian jet airliner? The Russian government continues to release facts, including satellite photos showing the presence of Ukrainian Buk aircraft missiles and locations from which the airliner could have been brought down by the missile system, and documentation that a Ukrainian Su-25 fighter jet rapidly approached a Malaysian airliner prior to its downing. The head of the Operations Directorate of Russian military headquarters said at the Moscow press conference today that the presence of the Ukrainian military jet is confirmed by the Rostov Monitoring Center. The Russian Defense Ministry pointed out that the moment of destruction of the MH-17, an American satellite was flying over the area. The Russian government urges Washington to make available the photos and the data captured by the satellite. President Putin has repeatedly stressed that the investigation of MH17 requires a fully representative group of experts to be working on the site under the guidance of International Aviation Organization. Anyway, says Putin reminded Washington, we're calling upon all conflicting sides to stop the bloodshed immediately and sit down at the negotiating table. I can say with confidence that if military operations were not resumed, the tragedy wouldn't have happened. Okay, what is the American response? Lies and insinuations. Okay, I'm not going to go into the whole thing. You hear the long, boring thing. But this is just one of the latest examples of what's going on out there. It's really strange to be living in a world where there is so much lies that are taken for truth these days. I mean, every day I see postings and I hear people talking about ISIS. Yet never once, except on this show, have I heard anybody point out the link to the ISIS organization that is located and headquartered outside Fort Huachuca and that has an office inside the Ronald Reagan building in D.C. that provides support for military organizations, works with the Department of Defense, and is out there in places where we're told ISIS is, like Iraq. Never heard anybody talk about that. Why? Because it's a big propaganda game. In the same way, it's like when the mainstream media, they downplay things like Obama's birth. Well, they're just complicit in the activities. Why they would lie? It's because these media personalities value the money that they are getting more than the truth to tell you that you need to be told. And that's a sad state of affairs we've come to. So propaganda is going on all around us, folks. All around us. The best thing we can do is keep our eyes open and pay attention, because awareness is 50% of the deal, 50% of the battle. If we're aware of what's going on, then we understand that we, looking at that situation as an energetic situation, have the opportunity to step away when we need to and step in closer. Understanding the principles that we're studying, these principles of the Kabbalion, and understanding how they all work, we understand that if the law of rhythm goes back and forth like a pendulum, if we know what's coming, we can step back to avoid some of what's coming. So by paying attention to life, by listening to all of the propaganda, to be aware of the lies but not buying into it, gives you an opportunity to really get a deeper look at things. Look at things from a deeper perspective. Look at things from another perspective. And perhaps that's part of what's going on. Perhaps we're all looking at things from another perspective. And when we do, we see past the lies, past the propaganda. And so when we hear all of what's going on in the world, with the wars and the rumors of wars, we understand it's just mainly that. A lot of rumors, a lot of chest pounding, a lot of pridefulness out there in the world. And all in all, and then here in America, look at all the propaganda that goes on here around the presidency. We have this guy, I've never known a president who's lied so much, who was so prideful, and just such a horrible leader. I've never known anyone. But it's par for the course. Antichrist. I believe that. I've played the pieces for you about that. And every day, the actions that this man takes fits more in line with the actions that we know that the Antichrist would be taking. So it's for him to prove that he's not. Because right now, as far as I'm concerned, he is. Well, let's move on now to Bringers of the Dawn. This is chapter 4, Memories of the Free Will Zone. Once upon a time, there were beings who wanted to create something. In order to do this, they needed to go in and very subtly change part of creation. These beings worked for, were associated with, and carefully guarded an aspect of consciousness called light. At different times, these guardians of light met and worked together and crossed paths at different realms of reality. They planned, they shared blueprints, they designed a time when the plan would go into effect. Certain members of this light team plotted the probabilities of Prime Creator, what Prime Creator would do, where Prime Creator would act, and how Prime Creator would be stimulated. The entities understood what could be done with light, and their plan was very carefully orchestrated. For several 100,000 years, these beings of light were trained to carry out the plan. Part of the plan involved being ready for a cosmic jolt that they anticipated would eventually be coming from Prime Creator. There was a great deal of dedication and preparation as the groundwork was laid and the training began. There was much to be learned before the plan could be implemented, for it was a daring plan. It was the intention of these guardians of light to take light or knowledge into a reality where that light was not welcome and did not fit. It was like putting your foot in a shoe that does not fit. These beings had a plan to prepare for a time when the light would fit. These beings are you, and that time is now. The time has been carefully orchestrated, and each of you knows in your deepest portions of your being that you have come here for a purpose. You have come here to begin the pivotal moment in the release. Everything that has been bound you up until now, into your reality, that has held you with defiant threads like steel cords and locked you into the ideas about yourselves and your relationships to the cosmos. For those of you who have come to act out your plan to work with the consciousness of light, your time is now. Your action springs from this moment. All you need to do is to begin to allow the energy to come into your body. You must begin to vibrate with the energy to clear the passages of the self, the emotional energies that hold themselves locked into your physical body. As you begin to examine the self, you will find that there are many cells in which to travel on the higher inner ways, or the inner highways, or the inner nervous system of consciousness. You will find that your society has been very cleverly designed to keep you from knowing the most intimate, rewarding, and exciting portion of yourselves. As guardians of light, you're going to create options of reality and then bring them in the mass consciousness of the planet. You will do this by first doing it for yourself, creating an inner peace and an inner love by accepting who you are and all that you have done in life, and all that you have done in your life. You will accept and integrate these things because you will know that they have been exactly the situations necessary to bring you into this final stage of anchoring light. The story is an ancient one and is stored within your body. Part of what we are requesting of you and reminding you is to open the historical treasure house and become an inner archaeologist. Be willing to travel the roads of memory of this lifetime and many other lifetimes so you begin to have a picture of the purpose of consciousness. When you begin to picture the purpose of your own consciousness, and you discover the clever ways you have traveled, the many guises you have used, and the many actions you have participated in, you will learn to accept the totality of your being. When you are able to accept behavior that was not uplifting, behavior, and accept your own identity of sexuality, and accept how you have valued or did not value life in many lifetimes, it will open a chakra center in your body that is located around the thymus gland, between the fourth and the fifth chakras. It is through here that eventually the nervous system will have open and information will flow. Through here that you will begin to regenerate the body and move into unconditional love. As you accept and explore what you have participated in, you will have a greater understanding of what is going on now on the planet. You will then allow others to dance to whatever tune they are best learning from in this time. There are some pretty chaotic tunes being played upon this planet, and there's purpose to all of them. The purpose is to strengthen the self so that the self can become completely informed about reality. The self can then describe with clarity the soul's path, or your personal path through reality. The original plan was for Earth to be an exchange center for information for all the different galactic systems. The original planners have not given up on this plan. They were members of the family of light, and some of you have been very intimate with these original planners. Feel that for a moment. We want to awaken your memories. We want you to begin to understand the magnitude of what is occurring on to your species on this planet so that you can operate with comfort, knowledge, and knowing. The original planners are quite capable of plotting different courses and different realities. As we have mentioned in the free will universe, all is allowed by Prime Creator. Therefore, since time does not exist as you know it outside of your local sector, things are left to work themselves out. So to you humans, it seems as if it's been a long time since any kind of cosmic planetary excitement has taken place on Earth. In the large scheme of evolution, it has not been so long, but because you are locked in time frames of Earth, it feels as if it has been a long time. Light gives information, and darkness withholds information. So in the times that are coming, it will be easy for you to discern who's who and what's what as you travel outside the third dimensional realm. All you need to do is discern whether something is light and you are being given information, or whether it is darkness and you are being misinformed, or information is being completely withheld from you. Darkness and light have come from the same creator, prime creator, who has created a host of creator gods to go out and to do its bidding. It has given all of these creator gods freedom to form worlds, to discover how to create life, how to become responsible stewards of life, how to become parents for the planets and the galactic systems that they have created. Learning to become good parents has been a constantly ongoing process. The creator gods have taken themselves and made themselves and fed their world from themselves. In Egypt, there's a story about a creator god who masturbated and created the world. The god took himself and made small identities out of himself that he could be in what he made and not outside of it. You're all needed to access portions of memory. This is part of the creator gods. Who are these gods? Who are the gods that fought with these gods? Who are some of the gods who came here and controlled you? Part of your task is to access your memory. When these beings return to Earth, there are many of you who will turn to them and say, yes, these are wonderful gods. I feel wonderful about them. You are so magnificent. Look what they can do. Some of these gods will seem to fix and save your world. This is where it will be easy to miss the bigger picture. It will look as if they are coming to fix and save the world, where in actuality they are doing is simply creating another form of authority and control. What we are saying is that people will put a belief system and a paradigm on these entities. There will be a large marketing program to sell the presence of these entities to you. The program is already going on. You are not like the masses on Earth, for you are members of the family of light, and you know things that others do not. You may know what these beings are not of light, and you may know that it is the core of your being. You may become sickened in society who does not know this. Many people will turn to worshiping these beings because it will seem as if miracles are occurring and the grandest event in the history of the world is taking place. It may even seem that humanity is being given a whole new opportunity, a whole new golden era. Then there will be a very big surprise, and people will find out that the tyrannies are larger than ever before. The purpose, of course, is for each individual to become sovereign and for the planet to unite. Not everyone is going to make the shift. Everyone is not in the vibration that wants to work in harmony at this time. There are those on Earth who will feel as if their states of ecstasy when they will find that they think it is a new authority, a higher authority, a new paradigm, animal gods or whatever. So the family of light, as it has infiltrated and penetrated this planet, is going to create its own planetary sphere, its own Earth. You are all learning about this authority. Who is the boss for the beings who are here now? Who is their God? Who is their authority? Well, that authority is coming back to Earth. There is a lesson in this for the Earth. These beings, who are neither spiritually informed nor lean in spiritual ways, deny the existence of spiritual force. They have developed scientific principles and technologies that scatter the laws of spirituality. You may think that because you understand and believe in the spiritual realms, that every person, as they evolve, will naturally embrace that information. It is not so. It is possible to become a brilliant master of manipulating matter and reality without understanding spatial connections. It is very important that you learn this. There will be those who will come from the stars of this planet, who will have the abilities that they will be incredible to the mass consciousness of the people upon Earth. But these beings will not feel, for they are not connected to any spiritual seeking. The choice to seek to awaken the spiritual self is, of course, free to each person upon this planet and to each person in the whole universe. Not everyone is going to realize it. Just as you have cultivated very powerful individuals upon this planet who are not in touch with their feeling centers, who have no connection to emotional and spiritual connectedness, There are those who exist in space who are extremely powerful space kings or space entities who have nothing to do with spirituality. They are powerful forces. If you met these forces, you would feel like David meeting Goliath. That is why it's important for all of you to learn how to alter your reality so you can dance between the vibrations of frequency or flip into the station of the world that you want to experience. Okay, I'm going to leave it right here. But very interesting. Some of the topics that were discussed in here were similar ones that have already been discussed in here. For example, the idea of propaganda comes up in here, the way in which some of these dark forces present themselves. Also, the idea of memory, which is associated with the numerology of today, number 2. You see, we've all been here. Some of us longer than others, some of us shorter than others, but we've all been here before. We've all been throughout this universe quite some time. What we need to do is we need to remember who we are. Because the more that we remember about who we are, the better off it's going to be for everybody. And we've all lived many lifetimes. We've all gone through many experiences. We need to learn from those experiences rather than not learn, than to just move through as if they were just some random event that took place that didn't mean anything. Because if we learn things from our history, we might understand more about our present time. And we might understand that compassion is something required. I like to go back to this example. When we had the slave days, the plantation slavery days, well, it's been quite some time since those days have been. People have died and been reincarnated. So I think there's a great possibility that those who were involved with slavery, perhaps as a slave owner or a slave lord, might have come back as a person who had been enslaved. And maybe someone who was enslaved at that time comes back as, somebody else, the opposite. So that we could learn from this lesson, not grow in hatred of it. It's strange to me that there are individuals upon this planet that don't want to learn. And I think that's kind of dangerous. And it seems that there's a lot of individuals that want to learn, and that's great. So what we need to do is we need to gather together with all the others that want to learn and continue to grow. And those who don't want to learn, hey, it's their free will choice. But we don't need to get all caught up in all of the lies and all of the doubt and fears that go on with those individuals. We need to all accept responsibility for ourselves individually, collectively, and we need to continue to grow because that's part of the process. So we all need to take responsibility for ourselves. And I know that when we all take responsibility for ourselves and we all continue to grow and evolve the way that we were designed to grow and evolve, I know we're all going to be very, very, very happy with that process. All right, here's an article over at In5D. It's about reincarnation, dealing with our past. It's from Elva Thompson. The cup. This is the cup assigned to you from the beginning. I know, my child, I know. Much of this dark drink is your own brew, a fault or passion, ages long ago. In the deep years of yesterday, I know. This is your road, a painful road and drear. I made the stones that gave you rest. I set your friend in pleasant ways and clear. And he, like you, shall come up unto my breast. But you, my child, must travel here. This is your task. It has no joy or grace, but it cannot be wrought by any other hand. Take it. I do not bid that you understand. I bid you close your eyes and see my face. This was Swami Vivekananda. In the above poem, very enlightening for those who seek the truth in our lives, it describes how faults in our lives are carried forward into the next, ad infinitum, and I add, ad nauseum. We endure life after life in this predator-prey dimension, forever trying to reconcile electromagnetic balance sheets, a balance sheet of energetic debt that we know nothing of. As electromagnetic beings in an electromagnetic universe of charge, every thought is a weapon of salvation. oneness, or duality, separation. Some relish the thought of reincarnation, the cell that helps to calm the I, the ego, the personality, the me, the all-encompassing sense of the self that in its arrogance can't accept the thought of its own annihilation. For ego-centered folk, reincarnation is a faith and a blessing. Yet reincarnation is also a curse, a prison that blocks us from transcendence and keeps us bounded by electromagnetic debt to this conceived reality. To understand the geometric hologram of reality, here's an article called Smashing the Program to help you understand. It says karma comes from the Sanskrit root word kri, meaning action. Nothing in our reality stands still. All is in motion. So duality is the base of life in the third dimension, and all human life is a balancing act of polarity. Every thought, action, and deed that we entertain carries a charge that is either positive or negative. At physical death, this balance sheet of positive and negative charges is weighed, not by a god or any sort, but by the program of duality, and the debt has to be repaid to the third dimension where it was created. Life after life, we are locked into the suit of flesh, and it has its own instincts and desires, that of the reptile self. And while the dinosaur rules, we shall be chained to this hell, this third world of fire and descent. We are split beings, the product of vivisection and genetic engineering. We are divine and demonic essence packed into the same space, viewing virtual reality through a piece of geometric software. The dinosaur brain that was forced onto our divine nature is the seed of our ego, the little I that thinks itself a god. It is the predator mind, the killer, the rapist, the moister of men's lives. The reptile mind is fearful, transmuted it, and we are transmuted by it from the moment we are born until the day we die. Our lives, via the inherited software called the reptilian mind, are plagued with insecurities, fear, and desire. These emotions give off negative charge, and we are drawn back into incarnation by the resonance of our desires. So let's go on. Let's move towards the end here. The Great Escape. To split into dualism. Dualism from oneness can be mended by our hearts. We have transcended duality and the us and them to see life for it really is. We must overcome the conditioning of centuries, propaganda, there it is again, and fear that keeps us enslaved and reach for the greater whole. We will then no longer waste our energy in conflict, but will use it to forge a pathway to a lighter, brighter world. Stay in love with the moment to see the duality for the illusion that it is. Much love to you all. We're a band of tired oneness warriors on the road to home. Okay, so again, it's important to remember who we are. Another example I like to go back to is Atlantis. Atlantis was a civilization. Many of us here now have come from Atlantis. Many of us have memories of Atlantis sinking at the end. Many of us understand why. And we see cycle repeating over, don't we? Same old cycle. People messing with the weather, people getting involved with genetic engineering. It's as if we didn't learn our lesson back then. So the question is, are we going to remember enough about who we are, what we're about, and the mistakes we've made in the past? Or are we going to repeat the same old mistakes? Well, I could tell you there's a bunch of scientists out there and world leaders who have not learned anything and are simply intent on recreating exactly the same thing they did. They don't know any better. But for the millions and billions of others on this planet who do understand better, we need to remember, and we need to stand on our own strength, and we just need to think about all of these troublemakers like this and wish them away. Wish them into nothingness. Let them all go off into their own little island and fight amongst themselves, while everybody else can live in peace and harmony, because that seems to be what the sense of what's going on is all about. All right, that moves us to our message for today. This is Heavenletter. Here we go.
How to come closer to God. Heavenletter -4989 published on July 23, 2014. God said, I talk to you, and you listen. And I would like you to talk to me as well. Just tell me what's going on in your heart. Think of me as your next door neighbor that you have coffee with every day, or as your best friend, for, of course, I am your best friend. When all is said and done, I am your best friend. Of course, I already know everything that is going on with you. I know your heart. I reside in your heart. I know your aches and pains. Yet what I know is not the point. Your talking to me is the point. You don't have to put on a pretty face for me, nor do you have to pray. Just talk your heart out to me, and your heart will be eased. Tell me your dreams. Keep me company. When you feel lonely, talk to me. When you are spectacularly happy, talk to me. Just talk to me. By virtue of the act of talking to me, your heart will open, and you will also hear yourself talking to me. You can talk to me through any means you like. You can write to me. You can sing a song to me. Grace me with something from you. Tell me stories. What is important is that you communicate with me. You will begin to know me by your side. You will begin to know me as a living presence. You will know me close up and not far away in some castle in the sky. I am a down-home kind of God. I am as personal can be. Yes, I am also omniscient and so on, and, really beloveds, so are you. In any case, let's make contact. Let's parley a little one-to-one. We will make miracles together. Life is made up of miracles, and you are one of them. Be my pal, my buddy, my friend, just as you are. You are perfect for me as you are. Love me, and love yourself. There is no step you have to take in order to be conversant with me. You don't even have to know how to dance, and we will dance. We will be light-hearted and light-footed. We will make light together and shine over the universe. You will come with me wherever I go, and I will go with you wherever you go. I will be with you where you are, and you will be with me where I am. And where am I? I am everywhere. We will be everywhere together, which is the actuality in any case. It is good to know that we are together. It is good to exercise our right to be together, to play at it. Even when you do not believe it is possible that we can be so close, play as if we are, and you will soon encompass the reality of our enwrapped relationship. Oh, how we relate, you and I. How well we know each other. We were made for each other. Certainly you came from me, and now we continue our joy in each other. We are already well acquainted with each other, yet there is no end to it. There is no having enough. We always want more. This is our adventure. We meet eye to eye, and heart to heart in our oneness that is more wondrous than you have ever imagined. Our feelings are mutual. Find this out for yourself. Let's just talk and talk about anything at all. It doesn't matter. That we are together matters. Heavenletter -4989 published on July 23, 2014.
Alright, very good message indeed. So let's go ahead and bring ourselves to today's meditation. So for this, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And another deep breath. And exhale. And keep breathing in slowly and think to yourself, I am confident. I am confident. And allow that thought of your confidence just to float through your being as you continue to breathe in and out. Now imagine yourself walking along a path of life. And as you walk along, imagine right next to you is God. And as you walk and you feel the presence of God walking alongside you, you feel this presence is there as a friend, as a brother, as a sister, as a family member. You find that this presence represents all things and is simply there to accompany you throughout life. And so you begin to talk with this presence of God. And as you speak with this presence of God, you understand that you have a long relationship. Some of you have been communicating with this presence of God for a long time, and others not so long. But it matters not. All that matters is that you're communicating. And when you converse with God, you learn a lot about yourself. For you find that the being that you converse with resides within you. And that the divinity that you seek is part of your being. So as you continue to walk through life talking to God and having a continual conversation, you find that you are never alone, for you are always accompanied. And as you continue to walk along conversing with God, you find that whatever problems are occurring in life, you're able to solve. Because you are not alone looking for the solution. So as you walk through life today, just simply make your mission a very simple one. To talk to God. Whether you know God or not matters not at all. Just make an effort to make the conversation, to communicate and learn from it what you shall. For I know that if you speak and reach out to God, God will be there for you. Always has been, always will be. So let your subconscious mind continue on the journey, walking the path, speaking to God. Let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment, happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is our show for today. Thank you very much for being here. Go out in the world and talk to God today. Just converse like a friend. See how your day turns out. Bet it turns out pretty good. I bet you'll learn some things. Perhaps this is what the communication is about. Communicating, looking at things from a new perspective. Go back and review some of the astrology from today and see how that ties in, or maybe at the end of the day. After you've gone through a day of talking with God, go back and relook at things and see if it makes a different amount of sense or how much more you understand from it. Alright, that's our show for today. I'll be back tomorrow where we shall continue on. Tomorrow is Friday, Jesus Friday, so talking about Jesus and other things. Till then, keep loving yourself. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.